Hello, everybody. We are going to spend this week and next week learning about evaluating websites. And you may have seen this before in your English class, or this might be new, but we use what's called DRAC um, to evaluate websites. And I put a bat on there because it reminds me of Dracula and it makes it a little bit easier to remember those four letters, DRAC, spelling DRAC. So when we're looking at a website, let's say we're going to do a website for a school project, we need to look at four things. And those four things are domain, relevancy, authority, and currency. We're going to take a look at each of those. When we look at a website, we need to first look at the domain suffix. So that was a vocab term for this week, and the domain suffix is that end part of the URL. If it says .gov or .edu, you get the green light. You can use that site. If it comes from the government or from an educational institution, you can use that site. Now, if it ends in .com, .net, or .org, we got a yellow light on that. We need to check it carefully because lots of different companies and organizations and people from all different parts of the world and the country and all different um, thoughts and ideas can be represented on these websites. And we just want to make sure that we're using fact and not opinion, and that we're using sites that really are credible sites. So if it's .com, .net, or .org, we need to continue checking through DRAC. The next thing we look at is relevancy. Relevant means, is that information related to your topic? Does this website help you answer the questions you have about your topic? And most importantly, it needs to be fact. So it needs to be facts about what hippopotamuses eat and not opinion that hippopotamuses are better than rhinoceroses. It needs to be something that helps you do your job on your assignment. The third step is authority. Authority is knowing who is the author, either a person or an organization or a publisher, who wrote that information. And is that person or organization an expert on the topic? So in order to be an expert, they should have a degree, a job, or experience related to that topic. Sometimes this is really hard to find. You might have to look for an About Us section. You might have to look all the way at the bottom. You might have to look all the way at the top. And so you're looking for something that's talking about the website or about the person who wrote it. And then figure out, based on their biography, their college degrees or their jobs or their experience, if they are actually an expert for this information. And if they are, move on to the next step. The last one is currency. So how current is the information? When was the information last published or updated? And then based on your topic, is the information current enough? If you do not see a year, put the current year. Okay, so I'm kind of to talk through this. If your topic is a historical figure, then not a lot has changed in the last few hundred years. And you can use an older website. Let's say that website hadn't been updated since the year 2000. Okay, so that information is older than you. But that person's been, gone for a few hundred years, and so not much has changed. You could use that website. But if we're going to be studying anything that changes fast, science or technology or anything that's current events, the newer the better. Then you need to be looking for something that's 2020, maybe 2019. It really depends on your teacher and the topic, how old you can go as far as information. Usually at the bottom, you look for that copyright symbol, just like when we were citing websites. If you do not see a year, you assume that it has been updated to this date, and then you would put the current year. So if we do not see a date at the bottom, we're going to assume that all information is current to 2020. So let's practice this. Okay, so we're going to take a look at a website. And the first website we're going to look at the North Dakota, the state government website about tourism. Let's say I need to do a report on some different things that I could do here in North Dakota. The first thing I'm going to do is look up at that domain suffix. And when I look up here, nd.gov, .gov tells me green light. I can use anything on this site. So any of the numbers, the stats, the facts, any of this information is okay for me to use. This is a credible website. Okay, done. So let's look at another example of a website to see if it's credible. So I'm looking at this one. We've seen this one before when we were citing websites. And so the first thing I do is I check that domain suffix, and at the end here of this part, I see .com. .com means yellow light, need to check this carefully, need to go through the rest of the DRAC. So the next thing I need to look at is relevancy. My report is on Theodore Roosevelt. I want to see, does this site have information that I need to do my report? And is it facts? Okay, so I'm going to scroll down and I'm just going to preview some of the information I'm seeing here. I'm seeing when he was born, when he died. He was the 26th president. I'm seeing some different information. It all looks to be like facts and not opinions, such as that he was the best president or anything like that. That would suggest that it's an opinion. So it seems to be facts, and it seems to be answering some of the questions that I need for my report. So I'm going to say, yes, this is relevant. Next thing I need to do is check authority. So for this site at the top, I saw that there is a written by. So I really don't have to go looking around the website for an About Us section of the website. I can just click this person, John Milton Cooper. And when I click on John Milton Cooper, I see that he's located in Madison, Wisconsin. But more importantly, I see his biography, and he is a professor of history at the University of Wisconsin. And he is also an author. Okay, so he is an author. He's a professor, specifically a professor of history at a university. And so we can assume that this person has the degree, has the job, and also has some experience to be an authority on Theodore Roosevelt. So I'm going to go back to my main page, and I'm going to cover my last part, which is currency. So again, Theodore Roosevelt is a historical figure, okay? So he passed away in 1919. So really not much has changed. Unless there's been any kind of new discovery about Theodore Roosevelt, we can use sources that are 20 years old. Most websites aren't 20 years old, but we're going to go ahead and check. Okay, I tried to scroll to the bottom and it got really weird. But anyways, trying to get to the bottom again so that I can find that copyright date for you. And I don't know if you see it right there, but it's 2020 before this site just went somewhere else. 2020, current year, totally fine to use this website, even though it's kind of being weird right now. So again, if we didn't see one at the bottom, if we didn't see a date down there by the copyright symbol, we would put the current year, which is also 2020. If you have any questions about this, I do want you to reach out to me. This is one of our more difficult subjects for the year, which is why we're spending 2 weeks on it. So what you're going to do is you're going to take this information and you're going to look at 2 sites and determine if they are good sites to use or not, okay? We all know that there's some fake news sites out there, so be wary of that, okay? And then we'll go over that practice next week before you take the assessment. So we're going to do lots and lots of practice on this because it really is important that for the next 6 years and then on to college that you know how to pick good sources for your school reports. Thank you.